clutch. 1996 Ford Bronco with a 302. Not so much the Bronco is the point here, but the 1996, the 302, which is a V8. The same engine fits F-150, of course Broncos. What else? What else do they have the 302s in? I don't know if they have them in the 250s or 350s or not, but it doesn't matter. The fan clutch, however, does, and it fits quite a few numbers of years of F-150s, 250s, and 350s. The same one fits my F-350. This is the new one. This is the old one. And I just took the old one out. Actually, I took it out from in here. I wanted to bring the whole thing up and out, you know, to do my work, but there just wasn't the clearance. So I took it off on the inside. Not too big a deal. When you do take it off, come on, focus there. There we go. When you take it off, this pulley has a little bit of a tendency to become a little bit crooked. I put a couple of bolts in there to hold its position so I don't have to loosen up any belts or anything to get this back on. My real question here was, is the old fan clutch any good? And how do I know if it's any good? How do I know if it's bad? And I read online, and you know, everything seemed to read pretty good, but I was more interested in this right here. New one, old one, pretty obvious. Now this spins. There is a little bit of viscous resistance there. Now, that for those of you that don't know, there's fluid in here. Not quite sure how it works, how it all works, but it provides resistance when this spins. And this old one compared to the new one, there is actually quite a bit of difference. See, I got to use more of a grip to turn this. The fan clutch itself is almost spinning when I turn it. So that alone tells me that this one is bad. Also, what I noticed, there's a lot more dirt in here where the oil has stuck to. You know, whereas on the new one there is none, and it's all over around here. You know, it's around on the edges a little bit. Not a whole lot. There's some on the inside. This little spring that you see here is actually some sort of thermostat. As it expands and contracts, it actually turns the center point. And it adjusts how much resistance the fan clutch is going to offer to cool the engine. And another thing I noticed right away, look how loose this guy is. Very loose, and the center guy here is really not loose at all. But look at that thermostat spring, very loose. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but I can hear it rattling in there. The new one, it's very tight. I can't move it quite at all. Focus there. Maybe a little too close. But because this is loose, there's some free play in there. This is not thermostating the clutch correctly. Is thermostating a word? Well, it is now. Thermostating. And also on the back of the fan, down here, you could see, you know, the dust has stuck to some dirt. Of course, I'll wipe that off once I get it all put back together. But that alone tells me that this fan clutch is bad, or going bad. Everything I've read says that these last about 40,000 miles. I'm pretty certain I have about 40,000 miles on it. Something I had in mind that I was going to try. I was going to put I was going to bolt on like a flat piece of metal, come out with a fish. What am I trying to say here? A fish weight. You know, it tells you how much your fish weighs. And I was going to pull on it to see how much effort it took to rotate this. So I can rotate this with one finger. I was going to do the same thing with the same length of metal rod, and with the fish weight hanger ordeal, pull it to see how much it took to turn this. But I'm not going to do that because this is significantly harder to turn than the old one. Like, I can do this with one finger. That's quite a bit more difficult. Anyway, 4 bolts hold it onto the fan, then 4 bolts on the mount hold it onto the pulley and water pump. The bolts were kind of tight. The pump pulley would turn, so I would put downward pressure on this belt. I'm not going to do it now because it's all loose down here. I'll put downward pressure on the belt, which would tighten up the constriction of the belt around that pulley enough for me to break the bolts loose. The fan clutch does come with new bolts. I'm going to make sure to use those. Other than that, I don't have much more to say. This concludes my video. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps you out. And feel free to comment down below. Help each other's out. Have a good one.